we have something to learn from the other. And I think universities and Jesuit schools like Campion are perfectly positioned to help people learn from the other. Campion College was founded by the Jesuits in 1917 in Regina, Saskatchewan. So we're celebrating our 100th anniversary this year. And we have a long tradition of forming global citizens, leaders who will go out and make a difference in the world. The prairies are a resource-based economy, boom and bust. And the first settlers were immigrants, mainly from Eastern Europe. These settlers realized that education was important if their children wanted to go on to become professionals, to better themselves, to have a life that their parents didn't have. Now in the especially last 10 years, with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, we realize that that role of using education to better society is so important to our First Nations peoples. That education is their way out of poverty, their way to combat some very difficult social issues that they face. The churches in Canada, with the legacy of residential schools, there's a lot of trust building that has to happen to build that trust with First Nations peoples. Archbishop Don Bolin once asked me, with all the social problems that Indigenous people face in this country, what gives you hope? And I immediately said, education. We have 14% of the students at the University of Regina are self-declared First Nations, and one of our sister institutions is the First Nations University of Canada. We have Mother Teresa Middle School, the first nativity school in Canada, and the first in the world that serves Indigenous youth. And so a big emphasis for us is relationship building. So it's not an agenda, we're not driving it. We have set up various ways of being in relationship with Indigenous peoples, with their leaders, with their elders, respecting their traditions. We have 15,000 students from the university who are coming through our space every day. How are we ministering to them? And it's a ministry of presence, of being there, of being up front of who we are as a Jesuit college, and of answering their questions. We're attracting more and more Muslim students to Campion, and they're very good academically, and they welcome the chance to just share about themselves, where they come from, their faith. We've hosted Syrian refugees, and they've told us that they feel a comfort level to talk about their spirituality that they don't feel on the main campus. They actually value the fact that we're a Catholic college. We have a Jesuit at Campion who's an expert on Islam. He's the only Palestinian Jesuit in the world, and he's at our college, and he teaches courses on Islam and on Arabic language. The need for Christian-Muslim dialogue in our country and in our world is acute. We're not trying to convert them, they're not trying to convert us. At Campion College, we very much embrace Pope Francis's call to a culture of encounter and dialogue. And really, when you think about it, we don't have many places in our secular culture for meaningful dialogue. What we tend to have in our secular culture are people in subgroups with people who share their opinions. And so what we really need, and what we've been trying to create at Campion, are welcoming spaces where people from different backgrounds can come and share about themselves, including what's most personal about themselves, their faith. Young people today are not satisfied with the secular world. They feel shortchanged, even cheated. It doesn't really speak to them at their deepest core. Our mission is to form the whole person intellectually, socially, and spiritually for service to society. Canada's 150th anniversary is a celebration of what's best about Canada. And what's best about this country is it is a country that welcomes dialogue and encounter, that doesn't impose one view on people. And that's why education is so critical to this mission. It's a country where everyone should feel welcome, everyone should feel at home, and where diversity is not a burden or an obstacle, but a chance to grow.